What's up guys, welcome back to the RunWithJ channel. So in today's video, we have a special shoe showdown between two mid to upper level Nike running shoes. So we have the Nike Pegasus Turbo 2 going up against the Nike Air Zoom Tempo Next Percent. So the way we're going to score these shoes is by 5 different categories. So we're going to look at design, cost and value, comfort, weight, and performance. So we're going to give each of these categories a score between 1 to 5, with 5 being the best, and then we're going to tally up the total score and find out which shoe reigns supreme. So I'm super excited about this, and if you guys are new to this channel, welcome. Please hit that like and subscribe button as well as the bell for notifications, and let's get started. So the Nike Pegasus Turbo 2 has been around for over a year now, and the shoe, it's not the ugliest looking shoe out there, but it's also not the best looking shoe. So Nike's shoes are very similar in the way there's the looks, the silhouette, it looks just like similar to the Pegasus. So when you look at a shoe, you can kind of tell that it looks like a Nike if you were to hide the swoosh. So, the silhouette and the design is very similar on a lot of their shoes, especially with this one. So overall, I would give this a score of 3 for design. So the Tempo Next Percent is supposed to be released in the fall of 2020. It's supposed to replace the Pegasus Turbo 2 line. So the design and silhouette of the shoe looks very similar to the Pegasus Turbo 2 in the way it's shaped. However, you have new technology in the shoe which makes it look different, as well as the cool Olympic colorway and on the different colors on both sides. So Nike is starting to do a lot of these shoes where either one shoe looks different from the other in terms of colors, so it brings a little difference in the way things look. It's also got the heel tab, and the shoe looks a little bit faster with the asymmetrical laces, as well as these cool looking Zoom AirPods. So nothing too crazy, but also it's a little bit of a step up from the Pegasus Turbo 2 line. So for design, I would give the Tempo Next Percent a score of a 4. The next category we're going to look at is cost. So the Pegasus Turbo 2, when it was released last year, cost $180, and still some of the colorways for this shoe still cost that amount. However, you can definitely find discounts and deals on this shoe now for almost as low as $100 in some places. So this shoe still is pricey for $180 for a mid to upper level shoe compared to other brands. Some other brands, their premium shoe costs $180 or $200. Like the Adidas Adizero Pro, which is their premium carbon fiber racing shoe, costs $180, and this shoe costs $180 itself, and it's not really meant for racing. So this is definitely a little bit pricey in terms of cost-wise. So I give this shoe a score of 3 in terms of cost. Being Nike and the branded name, they can inflate the cost a little bit. However, I feel like that doesn't justify, what this shoe is meant for. So the Air Zoom Tempo Next Percent, when it's supposed to be released, should cost around the same as the Pegasus Turbo 2 when it was released, of around $180. So there's not much difference there. So the shoe is still, meant for the same type of, either a daily runner or a mid to upper level kind of fast-paced training shoe. It wasn't meant to be a racing shoe, which is, reserved for like the Alphafly and Vaporfly. So in terms of this, I would give this shoe a similar score of 3 in terms of cost. So after 2 rounds, the Tempo Next Percent is leading the Pegasus Turbo by 1 point with a score of 7 to 6. So the next round we're going to look at is comfort. So the Pegasus Turbo 2, in terms of comfort, when this shoe was released, Nike kind of stripped everything away from the original Pegasus Turbo, which had more padding and foam, and they really took out everything and made the shoe very minimal. So that's what a lot of people said. The shoe feels like there's really nothing, in terms of cushion or padding. You got that small Achilles section in the back, but that's about it. People still felt that there was slippage in the shoe as well as Achilles rubbing. So in terms of comfort, the saving grace for this shoe is this full-length ZoomX foam that's underneath the upper, which provides that squishiness and bounciness when you're walking or running, because ZoomX foam, Nike Nike's proprietary foam. It's very soft, it's very springy, and gives you great return. However, the only downside is it doesn't last as long. So in terms of comfort, I would give this shoe a 3, being it, being saved with the ZoomX foam, and overall it's very light. It is comfortable when you're running in it. However, there could be some pain for people either in the front of the shoe or the top or back here in the Achilles. So a score of 3 for the Pegasus Turbo 2. So the Nike Air Zoom Tempo Next Percent looks like they've took some of the advice from people and made some changes and tweaks, and made some updates for the shoe. So right off the bat, you can tell the shoe is a lot more rigid, more sturdier compared to the Pegasus Turbo 2, which you can almost bend, because of the it's not doesn't have anything to keep your foot solid. It's very minimal and stripped down. This shoe, it's got the React foam in the bottom as well as the ZoomX foam on there to give you not only the bounce and support, but also the stability and rigidness of the React foam. Not only will that keep your shoe running longer, but it also give you that heel support that most people need for stability. And this shoe also comes with the Achilles padding that's used on upper end racing shoes like the Vaporfly and Alphafly, which is very nice. And this also one-piece fly net that's used in a lot of higher end shoes is also nice, because you no longer have to fix the neoprene tongue like that on the Pegasus Turbo 2, which can be a pain for some people. And the asymmetrical laces create a nice, look. And then you can't forget about the 2 Zoom AirPods that are on like the racing shoe, like the Alphaflies, which gives you that, 4-foot cushion and bounce when you're running. So you got the ZoomX, the Air Zoom, and the React packed into the shoe, to give the shoe a much more stable and comfortable ride compared to the Pegasus Turbo 2. So in terms of comfort, I would give the Tempo Next Percent a score of a 4. So after 3 rounds, we have the score of the Tempo Next Percent leading with 11 points, and then the Nike Pegasus Turbo 2 coming in with 9 points. So we still have a couple rounds to go, so it's still fair game. The next category we're going to look at is weight. So the Pegasus Turbo 2 weighs at about 7.6 ounces, which is very light for a running shoe. And the reason because of this is because Nike stripped down pretty much everything on top of the shoe. So you basically got an upper, some little bit of padding, and pretty much ZoomX foam, and that's about it. So some people like the minimalist feel and the lightweight feel of the shoe. However, other people complain that it's very painful, or they they feel like they don't have too much support. So 7.6 on the weight scale is very light for a running shoe, and that's something I really liked about the Pegasus Turbo 2. So in terms of weight, I give this shoe a score of a 4. The Nike Air Zoom Tempo Next Percent, was very hyped up to be like the next great, Pegasus Turbo 2 shoe. However, I was a little bit let down when I first weighed the shoe, coming in at about 9.2 ounces, which is almost 2 ounces heavier than the Pegasus Turbo 2. And that originally, I thought it was a deal breaker for me until, I ran with it more, and, slowly, because of the Air Zoom units and the extra foam that's placed on this, the bounciness and the return kind of, pushed away the weight issue a little bit. So overall, I was satisfied with it, but that still does not, give an excuse for the Tempo Next Percent for being 9.2 ounces, which seems to be a little bit heavy, on the shoe. And you can definitely, when you're holding the shoe is a little bit top heavy, mostly because of these Zoom AirPods. So 9.2 ounces is a little bit heavy for a running shoe on the upper to mid level. So I would give this shoe a score of 3 for weight. So after 4 rounds, the score is getting very close. We have the Nike Air Zoom Tempo Next Percent just barely edging out the Pegasus Turbo 2 by a score of 14 to 13. So the final round that will decide it all is performance. So performance on the Pegasus Turbo 2, is, really great. This is a very popular shoe, and there are people that really like it. However, there's just the same amount of people on the other end that hate it because, you know, of the reasons that I mentioned before. So performance-wise, the shoe is very light. It is very fast, and it's used, you know, you can use it for tempo runs or any type of quick runs. And this full-length ZoomX foam definitely gives you, you know, that return and energy return, and also bounciness that a lot of runners love in Nike shoes. So this shoe performs great. You know, it's runs fast. It's comfortable to me at least, and also it's very minimal, and the weight on this is super light, so you know you can go running for, you know, miles and miles and not really feel any weight on your feet. So performance wise, this shoe is very good. You know, and I would give this shoe a score of 3 for overall performance, because, you know, it's a amazing shoe. It's super light, and, you know, does this job with the full length ZoomX foam. So, you know, great shoe. I really enjoyed running in it, and, you know, there's nothing really other, you know, bells and whistles to the shoe, but straight, this shoe is, you know, for straight speed, fast running, and, you know, miles after miles. So the performance on the Nike's Air Zoom Tempo Next Percent, you know, originally when I got the shoe, I had, you know, second doubts about, you know, how the shoe was actually going to be. The first thing that caught my mind was honestly the weight. I thought 9.2 was a little bit heavy for a running shoe, so after I started running in these and logged more miles on it, you know, that weight issue slowly started to dissipate, and, you know, I felt more. What caught my mind more was the Zoom units, the React foam, and the ZoomX foam, giving me that great and awesome energy return. So even though the shoe is heavier by almost 2 ounces, the return and energy save you get from the shoe is amazing. So it performs very well. You can also use this for fast-paced speed shoe as well as longer distance running shoe. You know, you'll definitely want to go fast in this as well. It's not a shoe made to go super slow, although you can. It did feel a little bit awkward when you're trying to go slow, but the shoe is made for fast and long distance running. So, you know, performance-wise, this slowly grew on me. So, you know, I would give this shoe a score of 4 for overall performance, because the return, the comfort, everything packaged into one, you know, outshines the Pegasus Turbo 2, which the only thing that shoe had going over this shoe was the weight, about 2 ounces. Although that is a huge difference when you're actually running in this shoe. The ZoomX foam as well, the Zoom Air Pod and React foam, that combination just gives you that great feeling when you're running, and, you know, it just that you just feel less tired, and you give you great energy return. So, you know, I'm starting to really, you know, get used to this shoe, which I said in my initial review that I needed to log more miles on this thing. So yeah, it's starting to grow on me, and I'm starting to really enjoy it, you know, running with Zoom AirPods and all of these other technology that's packed in the shoe. So overall score of 4 for the Tempo Next Percent in terms of performance. So after 5 rounds, the score is in, and the winner of this first inaugural shoe showdown is the Nike Air Tempo Next Percent, with a score of 18, compared to the Pegasus Turbo 2 coming in with a score of 16. So the Pegasus Turbo 2 was able to catch up for a few rounds, but the ultimate performance round is what separated these two shoes. The Pegasus Turbo 2 obviously is older, so the technology will be a little bit different. However, you know, it still beats out a lot of the current running shoes from other brands, and even current Nike shoes as well. It's still a light, fast, quick running shoe, you know, that's very minimal, and some people like that. So it's great for speed, great for long distance, great for mileage. So people, you know, still like this shoe a lot. So if you want to pick up a pair of these, you probably should get them before they're gone. You know, in terms of the Tempo Next Percent, it's definitely the latest and greatest with, you know, running technology all packed into one. The only issue that I had with this shoe was the weight. However, as you run more miles and get used to the feeling of this shoe, that weight issue slowly goes away, and then you're just reminded of that great energy return from the Zoom AirPods, the ZoomX foam, and the React foam for stability that are just, you know, blow your mind away while you're running. It's just comfortable, gives you great return, and, you know, it's also, I forget to mention, super stable. So, you know, if you're a person that, you know, pronates or, you know, needs a stability shoe, this shoe is definitely more rigid. You know, there's a little bit of a heel counter in the back of the shoe, and then you had the React foam on the bottom to give you that extra stability and support. So the Nike Air Zoom Tempo Next Percent is the overall better shoe and the winner of the first inaugural Shoe Showdown. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this shoe showdown. Be sure to check out the links below for the full review of these two shoes. I hope you guys are doing well and your family and yourself are staying safe. If you have any other comments, feedback, or questions, please feel free to leave them down below. And I'll talk to you guys on the next run.